YouTube, it's Brian Phillips. We're gonna open something new and exciting today, but it is a little bit different. And so we wanna thank Creality for working with us on this. It's a box. And you're probably understanding by now, because you've seen the thumbnail, exactly what it is. And so I can't let the cat out of the bag on our massive plans for all these cool things, but I will let the cat out of the bag when we unbox it. So it's gonna be exciting. Ooh. So guys, this is gonna be a laser engraver, and we're excited to be able to bring you this type of thing, 3D printers and that sort of stuff, because I have always been a very creative person, and so it excites me to be able to do these things. And so without further ado, we're getting right into it. Okay, so part of the reason why we love working with Creality on these products is that this being the Falcon2, there is a quick start guide. There's even a flow chart, which is kind of interesting. Okay, so the camera crew is gonna look at that. We're basically gonna unbox this and show you how reasonably easy it is to set these sort of things up, even if you don't have lots of experience like me, okay? So we're just gonna go through the process. Now, you might be thinking, what are you engraving, Brian? You don't engrave stuff. And that may be incorrect, but the truth is, really what we're looking at is being able to cut foam and balsa wood parts. So, like for instance, where this cat is seeking shelter, that's a balsa wood aircraft, okay? So obviously with foam and balsa wood, we can cut that stuff and make small basic kits, or we can make small foam kits. So super excited for the possibility. And so we're just gonna unbox this. Looks like we've got maybe some starter pieces here. Looks like different colors. Obviously there's some wood and some different fabrics and things. Okay, so we'll just leave this out of the way for now. I'm mostly excited about the prospect of being able to cut some foam and make some neat kits, potentially. Okay, so these things are obviously standoffs or part of legs. And as you can see, they come apart. So I'm not sure exactly how all this is gonna work out, but it looks like there is some threaded rod with a hex drive on top. And so these things are going to come apart almost certainly, okay? And then we'll be able to reassemble things as needed, okay? So that's pretty interesting. We have noticed that with Creality, you seem to be getting some of the best products that you can get. There are other brands that do these things, and we are happy that we are just lucky enough to be working with some of the best stuff right away, which is exciting, okay? So we're gonna keep unboxing as we go. This comes packed nicely. It should be mostly fully assembled. There's gonna be a few steps. Comes with some stickers. And then it looks like a Falcon2 quick guide, okay? So camera crew is gonna look at that real quick while I get this stuff opened up. So part of the reason we like to do unbox build radio setup on airplanes is because most people just need a little bit of help getting started. And in our case, same thing here. We've got a little bit of wood here, so we can engrave that. This feels like somewhat of a plywood, yep. So I don't know if that's for testing or what, but I'm just lay that over here. It might also be part of the assembly. Okay, so it looks like engrave, cut thickness, cutting thickness, cutting thickness. So I'm not sure exactly what that is, maybe a gauge. This is a USB-A to USB-C. It's a really high quality cable, pretty long too, okay? And then this is something to clean your workpiece off. So that's always handy. And then more of these standoffs. It looks like kind of the same style of construction. Okay, so it's got different heights. There will be a little bit of assembly required on most of these Creality devices. I think the last one we did, there was very limited assembly, but it was mostly on packaging. Okay, so we're just gonna kind of keep taking things apart from the package. This is, of course, the laser head. So you have to be really careful with this, guys, because these are genuinely, okay, please read the security statement in the user's manual carefully. These are actually cutting apparatus, so you have to be careful. There's going to be a little bit of safety that you have to watch out for with regard to the way these things work, and they can actually hurt you, so you need to be careful. Kids, if you're watching this, make sure your parents are paying attention to what's going on and giving you assistance. Air, fire, lens. So this is the laser engraver. Focus beam, 24 volts. Looks like a 40 watt, okay? So this can hurt you, so please be careful. There's a cooling fan on the side. Everything feels really robust aluminum case, powder coated it looks like. And then of course a cable, which is gonna plug into the controls apparatus. Looks like somewhat of a 10-pin connection, okay? So we're just gonna lay this down here sideways, and then a static resistant bag. Okay, so we're just gonna keep working our way through. Okay, it does come with some safety glasses. We were just talking about safety, and it looks like ours are pre-broken, but it looks like I should be able to put that back together, because this is an over-the-glasses style safety glasses that have a tint to them, which are gonna hopefully keep us safe as we're working. And it looks like they just didn't trim it very good from the factory. I'm assuming that's not built by them. Okay, so these are super stylish, and they are a little bit small. Let's show the people what it looks like. It's kind of like green when you look through that.
Yep.
I don't know, can you see it? There you go. Now, here, you hold it.
Okay, here we'll just film the rest of it like this.
Yep, the entire video like that.
Extra safety.
So that will protect your eyeballs, and everybody wants your balls protected. Just saying. All right, so we have a power cord. This is an AC power cord that's gonna go into the machine here. So we'll just untie that. Now, if you guys are brand new to Brian Phillips RC, we typically unbox, build, radio setup our airplanes, and then we will show from start to finish so that you guys can learn whether or not a product is good, or if you can handle the techniques that we use or need to use to put these planes together. Well, in this case, this is gonna be a little bit of a different application. And so you can see this is the power supply. This is the input is 100 to 240 volts AC at about 3.5 amps, and the output is 24 volts at 10 amps for a total of 240 watts. That's a lot of power, okay? So this goes in here, okay? And then note that it has almost a PS2 style connection. It's a little bit of a PS2 case, but then this has like a mic jack plug. So you want to be careful about that. Don't lick the end to see if it's working. I've been told that does not work well for the person who likes that.
And this is a 40 watt. Creality has a 20 or a 22 watt. If you check the link, you can see the different options that they offer.
That's right.
They have more than one laser engraver choice.
And if and when you do check the link, just keep in mind that when you follow the link, if you decide to buy, then that will help to support Brian Phillips RC, okay? So if you could just read all of these instructions to me, that'd be great.
M1.5.
So this is the tools kit that comes with it. Nice. So we'll open that up real quick. And we'll just put this here. Comes with some Velcro. Looks like a USB and like a memory stick or something. I'm not sure what that is. Okay. Oh, is that a flash drive? Oh, it comes with a flash drive? That's really cool. And it comes with some screws. And there is a USB-C to USB 3.0 or 3.1. I'm not sure what blue is. I'm not sure if blue is 3.0. But then this is the probably what's going to go into here. And then you can load whatever you're needing to load. Okay, so I'm gonna actually take those apart, and just keeping in mind that we did get the USB-C to USB-A style connectors here. And so I'm actually just gonna cap that back off. But don't forget that's in your toolkit. There's also a cleaning cloth here. And then there are some Velcro straps and a key so that you can lock this from operation, and then a handful of hex keys, as well as some small tweezers. Okay. So if you guys were wondering, I'm a little bit less boisterous because I'm just getting done, finally getting my voice back, and it's been nice, okay? So the feet, there's 4 of these. These are rubber on the bottom, kind of like a neoprene finish, and then the adjustable screw style. That's gonna be very helpful. And so of course the tools that you need to put this together largely are going to be included, but if we deviate from that, we'll let you know when we use something that we are going to provide opposite that, okay? So just kind of working through the project here as we go. This is very heavy. I don't know what the heck this thing is. Please check the filter, cotton, and clean if the airflow is weakened. So this is gonna be our air filtration system. It's very heavy, feel it. Don't drop it.
Oh yeah, that's really heavy.
Then we have another one of these PS2 style cases with a similar mic jack style plug, which is a little bit unusual. And then this must be a cap. It looks like a dust cap of sorts. So we'll just lay that down. It's got rubber on the bottom, so that's probably gonna ride on top of that thing, I'm guessing. Okay. So then we've got the insert. Packaging on these have been second to none. Creality is doing a great job on that. And as you can see, the vast majority of the assembly is already done for us, it looks like. Okay, so we've got some foam here, some more foam. Normally the foam is to protect the foam from the foam, but in this case, it's to protect the machine components from themselves, which is really important. And also, looks like we've got the frame now. Oops. Just slipping this out. Now, if you guys don't already know this, I work on machinery for a living, so opening machines is not unusual for me, but it is a little bit weird if they have lasers that can burn your eyeballs. Okay, so that looks like some sort of probably an air tube. And you can see the gantry controls. If you look inside of here, see the belts. Okay. So then as I pivot this around, you can see that's where stuff is gonna mount, which is pretty cool. And then this will be probably just laid down for now. Obviously, we're gonna have to do a little bit of assembly, and then the power is gonna go in from this side, it looks like, right here. And then there's a volume button of sorts. I'm assuming that has to do with the operation. And then right here we have a plate. I believe this will probably be the plate that goes underneath that we cut on top of. So we'll go ahead and open that up. Or maybe this is a blank for us to use. I'm not sure. But it looks like a nice piece of metal. Now I'm not 100% sure if we'll be doing any actual engraving tonight, because we may have to find a good piece of real estate in our home. So this has got protective film on it. Looks like some, probably aluminum. It's kind of hard to tell. But the instructions are gonna indicate that to us, so we'll come back to the instructions at some point. And I think we are empty now. Okay. So, yep, we are empty. That's the bottom, okay? But there was one more package that came with ours. Now, I'm not 100% sure exactly how yours is gonna be packed, but I'll just throw that on the ground for now. We had one more package that came with ours, and it was shipped kind of separately like this. So we'll just cut that open carefully. Admittedly, we did investigate. We thought maybe this was like a building material, but we believe it's actually necessary for the construction of the device. So we did cheat a little bit and look inside of here. We normally don't do that on unboxes because we want to be surprised and wowed. But in this case, we weren't sure. We wanted to have the best crack at success here. Okay, so Creality, create reality, achieve dreams. And so if you guys are brand new to Brian Phillips RC, generally we are not doing tool reviews like this, but we have done some different, like leaf blowers.
We use that a lot in RC. Actually, we do.
Huh?
We do use that a lot.
We use it all the time. We're constantly cleaning our runway, and I'm
Yeah.
serious about that. We use that tool so much.
Yep.
And we've done chainsaws.
Yep.
We get lots of really positive remarks on that.
We had some kittens once. No.
We had kittens once. That's right, we did an air chuck or something. I can't
Which
remember.
we also use all the time.
We do for filling our air filler. Okay, so this is, what is this? Made in China. Okay, 3D printing industry evangelist. Okay, so I'm gonna cut this. Looks like somebody else already cut it, AKA the camera crew, while I was driving through blizzards today. Let's see what's actually in here. So I'm a little bit torn on exactly how this opens. There were some votes from other lesser interested parties, AKA my children, on what exactly this was. But I think, oh wow, yeah, that's definitely part of this. So that's a honeycomb, so that goes underneath, and I believe it catches some of the material as it's been burned away. And I just gotta be a little bit careful pulling this out. Okay, so it looks like that is gonna be for us 2 pieces. Did something just drop? No, just a chunk of cardboard. Okay, so this, I don't know if those corner guards are gonna be part of it or not, but as you can see, that is really weird looking, guys. That's super cool. And the only reason the blue is shining through is because of the protective film on the bottom. Okay. So I'm not sure exactly how this goes, but I'm just gonna lay this here. I'm almost certain that's gonna be part of the assembly. So we can take this foam and move it over with our other foam to protect the foam from the foam. But I guess what I was getting at before I got to that weird component was that normally we don't build tools like this on the channel very often. We've done 3D printers, we did a resin printer, and we did a regular 3D extrusion printer from Creality, and we're super excited to be able to work with them on this type of tool, because really at the end of the day, we use tools a lot. Most of this stuff is gonna be probably behind the scenes, but there may be a few occasions where we make a basic kit or something like that, and we can show it, and then maybe we'll put the plans up for you guys to use if you want, or you can buy them or something, I don't know. We're not sure exactly how this is all gonna flesh out, but we do love the idea that you can make components. And one of my visions is over here next to our space heater, you've got this timber, and that's a balsa wood plane. And one vision I have is to potentially make some floats and to have a small kit that we could offer, and then you could make floats like that. Okay, so in addition to the foam floats that you can order from Horizon on something like that, we could also have a kit that you could cut out and then you could glue together and cover it with film, and then you would actually have a really nice balsa wood match. So super excited. Now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna unusually read some directions just so that we give you guys good advice, because we do have a quick guide here, and this is gonna tell us what to do. I kind of like have an idea from a 10,000 foot view on how to do this, just from understanding the way that this appears to go together. It's pretty obvious to me in my mind how this is gonna work, but I wanna make sure I do it in the right order so I don't make mistakes, because these are expensive components and I don't wanna screw something up. So we'll pause and come right back. Okay, as I suspected, we just read in the manual that these feet are the basic foot size, but you can also add and stack, or add and stack, or add and stack, however you want to get the right height, okay? So it just depends on your workstation, how you want it to work. Now, I have visions for, you know, potentially having multiples of these things stacked at some point in our, you know, time with this equipment. But I just want to point out the fact that there is a pretty large difference in height here, because you could actually have that thing up off of the table quite a bit, okay? So just keep that in mind. Now, in our case, we probably are just gonna go with the stock finish, because I think that'll be fine in our application. But just understand that if you see that it's low and you think it should go up higher, there are accommodations for that. Also, I just want to point out the fact that these things are loose on some of the components, and then they're not loose on other of the components. You see how these are loose? So just keep in mind, you're gonna have to sort of jam nut that. So I don't know if that means you're gonna use a little bit of Loctite, or what you might use if you mar the thread so that it's got a little resistance as you're putting it together. I would suggest the Loctite possibly, if you know for sure it's going to be the same most of the time. But I do like the idea that there's some flexibility. So we're going to keep reading and come right back. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and put the feet in real quick. So we have this long hose. That's going to be for the air. This volume knob has to do with the air suction. The controls are over here. There's an emergency stop. If you guys have never used an e-stop, it presses down, and then to release, you twist it and it pops up. So e-stop, it stays locked down. It's a momentary push button with a mechanical interlock that keeps it down. Okay, so that's customary on lots of industrial equipment. Of course, this is where I work with industrial equipment for a living. Okay, so there's 3 contact points here, or 3 points that you can install. Obviously, if you're just using the stock setup, you'll want to go to the farthest outside for the most stability, and then the inside will be the least stable. Okay, so I'm going to go all the way to the outside and put these in. Very simple. Just grab the feet. You don't need to have anything to torque it in there. It's going to be fine. Okay, so just keep in mind, if you use the longer feet, I just want to warn you about something that I just noticed. These belts that drive everything could be contacted, if you're not careful, by the screws in the top of the assembly on the longer feet, okay? Because they are going to need to be jam nutted if you use them, okay? So that just means you'll have to actually torque them down with a tool from the top, okay? So just be careful about that. Okay, so we've got that in there. So now that that's in there, we can go ahead and lay this back down. I'm gonna just leave this loose. And you can see the controls. Okay. Now I'm just gonna put this down so we don't pinch our hose, because you don't wanna pinch the hose or damage your eyeballs. It's very important not to pinch the hose or damage the balls. So this is our air pump. So you remember how I said it was kind of weird? Well, that's because there's rubber feet here, which are interestingly wiggly.
Okay. That's weird. Okay.
And what that's going to do is that's going to help to knock down the noise and vibration. Okay, so that's pretty cool. So this is going to be plugged in over here in 2 ways, one electrically and one pneumatically. Okay, so we're going to pop off this cap. Then we're going to install. Left a black mark. Then we're going to put the hose on there. Okay, so pretty simple stuff there. I would like this to be mounted to the machine, but the reason they do that is to improve the potential for accuracy and precision, because you don't want a lot of vibration going through your frame. Okay, so I'll have to figure out how I want to do this. But you can see this thing. Now these things sometimes have collars that pull in and out, and it just depends on the device. This does not have a sliding collar. Some printers actually use this style, and they have to be slid back to insert. In this case, that's not the case. And you can see there is a key point here and then 3 pins. So you want to kind of line it up with the key point, and then it should go straight in. It's very simple, okay? If you're having trouble sticking it in the hole, make sure that you get the alignment correct, because you don't want to force it in the hole if it's not ready to receive it.
That after you slide the collar back?
Yes.
Okay.
So now also I took off my twisty tie, and now I regret it, because this would be a nice place to tie up for cable management, okay?
We'll see where it ends up though,
So
right?
we'll see where it ends up.
Okay.
That's right. Now I would highly recommend keeping your plug, because if you're not going to use it for a really long time, you should probably cap it off.
Okay.
So there's no leakage. Lots of good advice today.
Yes. You're going to put that in a little container?
What, yes, the container. So I'm going to show you what I did. Now you don't have to do this obviously, but this is what I did. I assembled my feet, and I'm just going to keep a bag of goodies. I'm going to drop that down in there. I can tell you this from having many, many, many things in my life. When you have lots of things, you better be organized or you're going to lose things, okay? These are very important tips for living, okay? So this is the USB-A to USB-C cable. It's actually quite nice. It's got a fabric covering, so that'll be handy because we can put our files onto the machine right here in a number of different ways, not the least of which is through this, okay? And then also through, they call it the TF card. I don't know why they call it a TF card, because that is, in my opinion, a micro SD card. I have no idea what TF stands for. So maybe that's like a Chinese acronym for something else. So what we're going to do is we're going to show you that TF card here. Here's the adapter that would allow you to also then use just a USB-A if you don't have the adapter through the cable. Or you can use this and this, or you can just take this, and stick it right there, but just be careful with that because there is a right way and a wrong way, and the diagrams are always sort of somewhat ambiguous in my opinion. Has a spring load retention, and then it'll pop out. Okay, so you can see how that works. So the pins would go towards your body. Okay, E-stop. I want to have that E-stop pressed. Just like this, it pops out, okay? Keep that in the off condition until you're ready to use it, by the way. Okay, now I'm not sure which way this goes, so I'm gonna flip it over. Okay, so they do provide all this stuff, which is really nice, okay? So I'm gonna cap this back off. We'll put that back there. We'll just leave this toolkit right here. All right, so remember we have an on and off key. Let's show you that real quick. So this is in the on position. If you were going for an extended stay, or let's say you and your wife were going out to dinner and you had kids in the house and you were afraid they were gonna like try to create something while you were gone, I don't think the creation part's the problem. I think the burning the house down is the problem. So you'll wanna use your best judgment. Or if you have like say a cat that likes to cut its own hair, the last thing you wanna do is come home to a naked cat. That would be freaky.
That would not be good.
Sunburned naked cat. Okay, so we are in the on condition, and we'll go ahead and lay this off to the side. Okay, so we're gonna read some more and come right back. All right, so this is gonna take a little bit of effort. It's not hard, but I just wanna show you. There's 2 thumb screws here. I am trying intentionally not to move this a bunch, but it's gonna probably move, okay? This is gonna slide down into here. I don't have enough clearance yet, okay? Then I'm gonna undo this until it drops down into the locking point, and then I'm just gonna set the set screws, okay? So now that's held in position. 2 things need to happen. 1, this thing needs to plug in there, and then this hose needs to be pulled out, okay? So that pulls out, it's gonna go into this thing right there. See, it's got a neoprene cover, and then this is the air hose, okay? And then this is going to go back, and it's gonna chase right along, and it's gonna be Velcroed on. And they do give you spares of this, okay? So that's what that Velcro was for. I was asking about that earlier in my earlier vain attempts to understand what the heck that was for. As with everything else from Creality, it all makes sense eventually, provided you don't burn your eyeballs out. So don't do that, okay? By the way, I did have LASIK Plus, and I can tell you this from personal experience. You do not want to do that yourself. Pay somebody.
Even if you're a cheapskate like you.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, that worked pretty good. Now you'll see I'm just gonna open this up, this clip, and slip that in there, and we're gonna see if this gives us enough length, and it's looking like it's probably not going to. It's gonna be close, and it's gonna annoy me because it's not gonna be the same length. So I'm not sure how this one's kind of awkward. I'm trying to drop it down. Okay, now it's there. Now I'm gonna make this go into that. You see that? Mm-hmm. So this clip needs to be going on the top side, on the upward portion. All right, so pretty straightforward stuff, but you see it's wanting to twist on me. I don't like that, and I'm not gonna tolerate that crap from no cable. So I'm gonna just see if I can twist this under. You guys see this? There it goes, it's in the hole. In the hole! Okay, so now I'm just gonna verify that we have good clearances because we don't wanna create any resistance here that could cause conflict. Okay, I'm gonna undo my air hose. Holy cow, that's hard to get out. Once you stick that in, it's pretty much doesn't like coming out very much, does it? So now I'm going to take that air hose and I'm going to trick this thing into being nice and neat looking instead of being a pain in the butt like it was being. Do you see what I did there? Mm-hmm. All I did was I reorganized where it was falling to give us a better crack at alignment, because this thing is going to be moving along the track and then the track is going to be moving along the machine, okay? So I want it to, of course, stay in a nice, clean orientation here, okay? See this? So that's going to give us the best crack at success, because obviously you don't want a bunch of mechanical binding with that. Now also, I just want to take this minute and point out something. Okay, I don't know if that's correct, because that does not look correct. That looks like it's too far down to me. Wouldn't you say?
The direction picture shows it pretty much sitting on the table to start with, just like you've got it.
Really?
Yeah.
How is it going to avoid hitting the airline?
And then do you adjust it based on what material you have in there when you're ready?
I suppose that's possible, but you see my problem is that this airline, I must have maybe missed a detail on the airline, because you see what I'm talking about? That's going to interfere with this.
Right.
Okay. So I'm going to unhook my air and I'm going to actually bring this out another way like that.
So it's all out from under
Yeah. So it's all out from under the machinery.
Okay.
Okay.
That makes sense.
You guys see what I did there?
Yeah.
So I basically made an opening so that it has clear rain here. Okay. Now, also, I just want to talk about the optional part of this. This is optional. So that means if it's optional, and that's supposed to be going more or less down to the table, then that means we're going to have to extend the legs to get this optional device in. Okay?
Okay.
So let's talk about that for a minute. Because we put our short legs on, but we're going to probably need to prop this up by a factor of at least as much as this honeycomb design allows for. Now this is glued on, it looks like. I thought at first these might be removable protection, but it looks to me like this is probably going to set just like that. Okay. So in our case, because we're on top of a granite countertop, I'm not so much worried about safety as I am destroying our countertop.
Right.
Okay, so we're gonna probably put that on for sure. And then that means that we'll have to install the optional risers to get clearance.
Can you not just move this thing up to the position you want it to be in?
I suppose you probably could. But I think these are designed to go in here because this is gonna give you the clearance that you need. Somewhere close to it, right? Don't you think? Because this could also be like this, and it could lay down like that, and then look at the clearance.
Okay.
Do you see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Do you understand why I'm saying what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show the people at home that are watching how to add these, because some of you are gonna need to add them and some of you aren't. So in our case, we do. And I'd rather you know how to do it now, as opposed to getting too far gone. Now I am excited that there's flexibility, but I'm a little bit annoyed I have to do this because I would like this to not be guesswork, because this is a little bit of a unique style machine. I've never done this before. And so it's a little bit of a new experience for me. Okay. So you see I just took one off, and this is not gonna spin on me, which is nice. So then I'm going to tighten this on there. Then all I need to do is just find the hole and then stick this in. Okay. And then repeat. So we'll pause and do that and come back. Okay, so the camera crew and I are having a moment of contention here, in that we don't actually know for sure if those feet extensions were needed. And she might be right and I might be wrong. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slide this under and just show you just how potentially perfect that might fit. I just wanted to show you guys.
You need the other piece of metal under there first also.
Oh, the bottom piece?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it says metal metal plate, then the honeycomb work table, and then whatever you're processing.
Okay, so
that
just to
first.
be clear, this metal plate is that big, okay? Mm-hmm. So that goes on the bottom. Mm-hmm. Okay. So are we supposed to peel off this protective covering?
I don't know.
I have to assume that it's probably going to be farther away, but I don't want that to get melted with every use of the laser, right?
Yeah, I'm assuming it probably has to get peeled off.
Okay, so let's just peel it off then.
Okay.
Oh, that's pretty.
Yeah, it is.
It's just aluminum. Don't salivate too much.
Yeah, but it looks nice. Is it going to get all screwed up when we use it?
Yes.
Great.
You guys see this? So now, if you guys order this stuff, follow the link in our video description below, and you'll be supporting Brian Phillips RC. If you decide to buy this stuff, it does support us. That is how we make this all make sense. These how-to videos, which again, admittedly, there are times when we have a little bit more how-to to share, and other times we're just learning together. In this case, this would be kind of a learning together experience, but just building on past life experience. This is pretty handy stuff. Okay, now watch this. Oop, we're hitting. So what that tells me is that in my case, I could either flip this over or I could put it in the other way. I'm just gonna flip it over. I don't think it really matters because the honeycomb is just gonna give a place for stuff to fall down and get caught, okay?
And the honeycomb is an optional part
This
anyway,
is optional, but like for us, I think it's probably, you know, maybe not gonna be super optional because if we're gonna do it on this countertop.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, we don't do a lot of things that can catch our countertop on fire other than soldering and, you know, dealing with lithium polymer batteries constantly. You might, though.
Right. You do a lot of things that try and catch your countertop on fire?
Yes.
That would be
So
fun.
that being said, we're getting pretty close to powering this up. We're gonna jump into, we did look at the instructions, and this has to do with adjusting the laser clearance, okay? So depending on what you're cutting, you're going to change the position of this thing, up or down, okay? So let's say that we were using this material, which I'm not saying we are, but let's say that we were using this particular material, okay? So this stuff is so thick. Now, how do we know how thick this is, Cam Crew?
I would use digital calipers
Okay.
or ask you.
Digital calipers would be a great answer. So we're gonna grab some digital calipers, we're gonna turn them on, we're gonna switch it out of inch mode. Somebody in my family keeps changing this to inches, and it's very annoying.
We'll buy him his own calipers.
So we are 1.62 millimeters. That includes the protective sheet, okay? There is another pair of these downstairs, you know.
That's a long ways away.
Yeah, well, tell them to stop using those. So if this is 1.62, where did the thing go?
Right here.
So if this is 1.62, you guys can look with me. 1 through 3, greater than 6. 4 through 6, this is 1 through 3. So we're gonna be at the top one. Okay, so I assume you're just gonna lay this down. And you're just gonna, you know, wherever it ends up being, you can technically move it, but that's hard on all that stuff, so I would rather slide this under. And then you're gonna set it to this 1 through 3. So you would loosen these two. That allows it to move up and down. And then you would just literally set it like that, right? Mm-hmm. And then you set your knobs until it's tight. Okay, and then you can go ahead and pull this out. So it's not like it's a really hard process, but you do have to get some of these steps right or you're gonna have problems. Would have been nice if this fit into the kit, by the way.
Oh yeah, that would be nice.
So we're gonna have to redo that because I don't wanna have a parts kit that doesn't get everything done, okay? Now, what's the next move? We are gonna find out and come right back. All right, so we have some basswood here that was included. And then we have some different fabric materials and things like this, as you can see from the side here. So what I was gonna do is, we were just talking off camera how I don't wanna screw this piece up because this would be kind of nice for making something you know, maybe a little bit more permanent. And so I would use a piece of wood like this maybe as a test. Now keep in mind, we still want to make sure that we're about the same thickness. Now we're still 1 through 3 millimeters because, you know, this is thicker than what we have here. And we can just tell by running our finger across it.
Yep.
So this is at least 1.67 or whatever it was, millimeters. Okay, so we just drop this down there and just put that under the workpiece. Now you're probably thinking, but you've never plugged it in yet, Brian. Yes, that's true. And so as a result, also this thing doesn't fit in
in
the
that
kit. So
either.
that kit's, yeah, kind of maybe not so super useful. Okay, so we've got some stylish glasses. Obviously we need to wear those from now on for everything.
Great.
Okay, and we've got our workpiece. It is kind of hard to see when I wear these. Okay, so this is gonna plug into power. I got really lucky and it just happened to line up perfectly. So that's kind of cool. But I think what I want to do is I want to plug this into an outlet probably, correct?
Yeah, I think that's usually how it works.
Okay, so, you know, you might want to cover your balls, hon.
Okay.
Your eyeballs.
Okay.
I'm going to cover my balls with these. I just want to make sure you're safe.
Okay, I'll be safe.
So as you can see, this cable is quite robust and kind of hard to bend. So now I'm gonna plug this in. It could, you know, could start cutting. Hands up, don't shoot. Okay, so I'm gonna actually take this and straighten the cable just a little bit. This is actually quite a heavy duty cable. And I'm gonna say this. This is sort of a little bit strange for me to say, but while I really like the Creality finish on everything, there's a lot of accessories, and I'm not just talking about the sweet glasses that are sort of hanging out there, you know? In the past, they've been really good about that.
But where do you put stuff? It's like an open frame
Yeah,
thing.
I know, but okay, so power on, okay?
Okay.
So nothing's blown up yet.
Okay.
Emergency stop is off.
Lights.
Lights come on. Okay, sorry.
We're good.
This thing's sucking. Ooh, put your hand on that.
That's
vibrating
a lot of vibration.
And so obviously it's moving quite a bit of air. So that's always handy. And there's quite a bit of vibration even on this. That's crazy. So as with any other 3D printing or cutting device, you want to try to isolate as much of the vibration as you can. Okay, so it looks like the startup procedure. It's got air. It's got
Why is it red?
I don't know. It's evidently decided it doesn't like some condition that we've caused.
I have to look in the manual and see if there's a...
There's also a power button here. We could turn it off. We could also hit E-stop and show the people how that works. All the lights shut off. So that's pretty good stuff. So pretty standard stuff. Start, air, fire, lens. Okay, so it sucks. This thing is sucking like crazy. Okay, so that's good. I guess the other thing is, I'm just wondering if maybe it's not correctly set up yet. Maybe it's not getting enough air through the system. This says air inlet, air outlet. Okay, so that all seems about right. So I'm not sure that's giving us an error.
We'll have to maybe look and see what red flashing means.
Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do now. I'm gonna pop this hose off and then we're gonna just evaluate power, cycle it. Okay, now watch this. Oh yeah, there's air blowing out of there.
Jeez. Oh, now it's red flashing already.
See, there it goes back to green, so that's always good. And then if I pinch this, see it goes, pinch it, it stops. So there must be something it doesn't like at some point of the sequence of events, okay? So we're gonna go ahead and do a little bit of reading and come right back. All right, so I just noticed a problem while we were playing off camera. I hit the home button and it came to the home corner. Now, that's not in and of itself a problem, except that I'm gonna e-stop this so it's quiet. It runs into this piece, the rubber. So I think when I laid this down, I probably laid it down, you see how it's moving? That's unacceptable. Not a good idea, okay? So I'm gonna loosen my thumb nuts, I'm gonna bring this up high, and I'm gonna set it, okay? So obviously we need to reevaluate how we have the placement of this because that's unacceptable for it to actually strike the component, okay? So if you guys were watching the way I did this, this needs to get flipped over the other direction, okay? Because you can't have that higher, it needs to be flat. You see? But even that, it might hit. See that? Mm-hmm. It might hit that. Just that little
tiny lip?
Yeah.
Okay.
So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna slide this back under here. Now the other thing you could do, just in thinking about where these legs can be placed, you're still gonna be outside with your feet, no matter which hole position you pick, okay? But what I wanna do is I just wanna make sure that our height is not going to cause a collision, okay? So I'm gonna loosen these thumb nuts. I'm gonna drop it down to where it's not touching, just a little bit above. I'm not gonna get hyper specific with it yet, okay?
Okay.
Then I'm gonna turn it back on. I am using the e-stop to turn it on and off. That may or may not be a good idea. But now you can see that I can move it by pressing these buttons through the X and Y coordinates here. And then if I hit home, it goes to the home position, right? So if that's the home position, then I wanna make sure that we get this thing positioned over here, right? Then when we move, see, as I press the button, it moves a little bit down, and it moves a little bit over, and it moves a little bit down, okay? And it moves a little bit over, and it moves a little bit down. And you also notice it hasn't freaked out yet about the air. Mm-hmm. So it must be happier in this condition because it's got air to move out of itself, okay? So we're gonna come right back with more details. Okay, so we got a laptop and we put our little TF, here, we'll just do it again. We took this thing that has the SD card in it, the micro SD card. Okay, we'll just plug this into our USB port and show you how this works. It's gonna plug in. Okay, now it's gonna open up. And we're looking for what?
A G-code file.
So user's manual, operational video, sample files. Okay, so the 40 watt. Engrave and cut. There's a G-code file. Mm-hmm. So Control C, put it into the root directory, Control V. Now it's here on the root directory, okay? So you can safely remove the hardware, eject the mass storage device. Once that happens, you can unplug it. We'll minimize this and get it out of the way. And then hypothetically, once we plug this in here, then we can do something with it. Now, there's a bunch of different ways you can plug this in. Okay, you can do this. You can do a bunch of different ways. But just to make it easy, I'm gonna try this and just show you there's a bunch of different ways. Okay, so once that's on the root directory, then I believe at this point you can hit frame and it should start finding. And see, it went to the orange, or it went to orange, or the yellow.
Yellow. Okay, so you have to find out what yellow means.
Yes. All right, so we're getting serious here, guys. So we're supposed to turn this off, insert it into the machine. So I'm gonna try it with the adapter first. Okay, so we stuck it in the hole, then we turned it on. Okay. Oh, we've got something. I can't.
Now we have a white light.
That's blue, by the way. Okay, so now we want to hit frame so it can kind of find the home position, right?
Yes.
Oops. Ooh, look at this. Ooh, there's a laser. It's a low power laser.
Because we're in preview.
Come on,
we're
come
in
over
preview
here.
Mode. I'm gonna like burn
No.
my balls.
Just listen. I don't want you to die, so I'm gonna just do this. But you can see right there.
I'm
That's
looking
pretty
at
sweet.
it through my camera, so it should be okay.
Okay.
I'm not looking at it.
I guess. I don't know. So it's found where it's gonna work, okay? So it's previewing its positioning, okay? So now what do I do? Just hit play?
I don't know. I didn't read that far.
So let's just hit play and see what happens. Oh, buddy. So now this is gonna start sucking deadly gases.
Oh, I can smell the.
Oh, really?
I can smell the
You'll have to
burning.
tell me what it's like.
You can't.
So now watch
Smells
this,
like
guys.
burning wood.
If you're doing this in your kitchen and you've got some stylish glasses on, first of all, turn on your exhaust vent. Oh, from this side, you better be careful because I can literally see it over there.
Oh.
Yeah. So like literally show them from the other side, but do not look at it. Like just film it with the camera.
So if I'm just looking at my camera, it's okay, right?
You can't all be this cool simultaneously.
Or no?
Okay. So, oh buddy, it's doing something. There's a thing happening. This is so exciting. Wowzers. Oh, wow.
We don't know what we're making though.
Now,
this
because
could be dangerous.
I have all this vigorous amounts of safety gear on, I actually have no idea what's happening around me.
Really?
I could accidentally stick my hand in there because I have safety equipment on. Just remember, guys, only you can prevent forest
Here,
fires.
we'll show it. Here.
Whoa, that's like really bright. Holy cow. Okay, guys, this is when it's gonna get real. Oh, yeah. Oh, geez, don't look at that.
Yeah.
You gotta be careful with the radiation, guys. You don't wanna end up like me.
What are we engraving here, hun?
I don't know.
This is looking sketchy.
Is it really? Is it like a giant picture of a you know what? Okay, kids, we're shutting off the lights.
Why are we turning off all the lights?
I'm turning off most of the lights so that it's awesome.
Okay.
Show them the room. It's like lasers.
We just have a Christmas tree up. Yes.
If you've
Still
ever
have our
seen a
Christmas
Pink
tree
Floyd
up.
concert, it's exactly like this.
Oh, good. Now I don't have to go.
Yep, that's right. Okay, trademark, Pink Floyd. All rights reserved, or whatever they do with those things. So it's doing something, and we're gonna find out what it is here shortly. But yeah, you'll wanna be careful because this is a cut and engrave. Whoa, that is incredible. So we're just gonna safety first. Safety first, folks. Safety first. It is kind of like crazy. Huh, that object is somewhat questionable. Oh, I think I know what it's gonna be. It's definitely not
Oh, is it
what
gonna
you
be
thought
that
it might
guy?
be. Yeah.
Okay, not the other thing.
Well, I mean, that would be a hilarious way to do it. That's really looking very much like it could be the other thing. Now, the cool thing is, guys, you know what might be happening too?
What?
I never actually gauged it, so it's probably gonna do like a less good job than what it would if we would have like set it up correctly.
What didn't we do? We did all the steps it told us to do.
This makes me a little nervous.
Our air thingy is orange, but I think that's okay. Orange or green. Orange is a small amount of air. It's not red.
I'm just like nervous about this. I wonder
Why?
if there's something I could do to keep that back here better.
I'm pretty sure they probably thought about that.
You think they did? I don't think that they could have, because I'm the one that put that there.
What?
Oh, it's not getting any further than that.
Right.
Okay. So guys, just seriously though, I want you to seriously listen. Take me seriously. Don't stick anything in there that you don't want cut off. Gotta put these back on.
That's a good look.
So safety first, guys. Give them different angles, son.
I'm trying to not like burn my balls here.
Your eyeballs?
Yeah.
Okay.
I like those.
Okay, now I'm just gonna talk about this thing's vibrating good. Okay. So we definitely, this thing blows though. It does not suck. So don't
Well, doesn't it suck the air out of the thing?
listen, this thing Though this thing blows, it does not suck.
Okay.
Okay?
It
'Cause
does
I think
vibrate.
we demonstrate that earlier. Okay? And yeah, that's definitely, wow. Woo! I could see why you were a little bit concerned. Just the shape and, just general look.
Size, angle.
So now, I gotta admit, this does make my awesome blue shirt even more awesome. You see-
Awesomer.
Awesomer.
Yes.
And I was hoping to get a suntan while doing this, but they also recommend against sun tanning with the laser. So make sure you don't do that. Okay? It's
So-
not just about your eyeballs.
So the only thing is there's no indicator of time.
I did notice that, and let's just talk about this again. We gotta do this seriously though. The other Creality equipment we have has color touch screens. There's user interface. It's really handy so you can tell what's going on. On this thing, you're gonna need to have a laptop of sorts that you can operate. Now, I am gonna just jump back onto the, except we can't because it's stuck into the hole over here.
Right.
So I'm not gonna do that thing.
And I was just gonna say, because I know you weren't paying attention when I was reading.
I
You
didn't
can
listen
use-
to anything.
You can use Lightburn with this, or you can use the Light GRBL or whatever the 4 letters are at the end, which is a free software to do this. So you can do the paid Lightburn, or you can do the free software. Which we
hold
have.
on a sec. So you're saying you can pay for it or you can use the free one?
Yeah, if you want to.
Is this a conversation?
Not with you. I'm telling the people they can choose that.
So now listen, there's all sorts of fun things you can do with laser engravers. Just make
Can I
sure.
watch that instead of you talking?
Yes,
Okay.
watch that thing as I talk about
Just 'cause I'm
amazing
concerned.
ideas. So, all joking aside, this thing is going to be amazing. I can't wait. And also just make sure that you hit the frame button before you start, okay? Because the last thing you need is this thing going around cutting holes in your wife's perfectly good countertop.
That no one has ever thrown a bottle of food coloring on,
That never happened except for the one time.
like a week after we moved in.
I was not really, really mad or anything
Nope, not
about
at all.
that.
There was no yelling.
No, it was all just smiles and happiness. Okay? I'm serious, I think really this is probably the most dangerous tool we've ever done on Brian Phillips RC. So kids, if you're watching, make sure you might want to order some extra cool glasses for your friends.
Okay, but do we actually need to do that? Because they're all gonna want to watch. How do you?
That is a good question. They're going to want to watch.
I think they actually have a cover that goes over the whole thing too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, why don't we have that
I
thing?
don't know.
Is it because they were hoping we'd get tanned?
Yeah.
Because they know
I
how
wanted a tan.
they know how my feet.
You're wearing shorts in a blizzard number 5
Listen.
of the last week.
I don't control the weather.
No, but you picked your clothes.
So I did drive for 5 hours in blizzard conditions today, guys. So you're lucky I survived. Otherwise, this video would have never happened.
Nope, would have just been me.
It would have just been me. Well, and then the next of kin.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna pause this. We'll come back, show you when it's done. Let the kids come up and see it quick, okay? Okay, so we've established it's not an object that we were concerned about. It's instead the Creality sort of mascot here. Yeah, I've seen
His foot
on the
is
video.
a little.
His foot kind of had us a little
Obscure.
concerned. But yeah, these things surprisingly are not bothersome compared to burning your retinas.
Right.
Okay. So also they do suggest having a fire extinguisher nearby because the way the laser works, it is, inherently
Flammable.
possible to catch
Yeah.
stuff on fire.
And we do have that.
We do actually have multiple fire extinguishers.
Yep.
1, 2, 3 within close proximity, and then a 4th outside and a 5th downstairs. So we actually do that. And we have our 6th fire extinguisher right there,
Right.
in case you were wondering. But we wanted to give you guys the first look at the finished product as it finishes, and it's getting close, so we didn't want to interrupt too much.
It
Now,
looks really clean.
it is very clean. Also, we just wanted to point out that over here, since I have the safety apparatus on, I'll go ahead and show you guys what I'm talking about. right here, this is where you gotta be a little bit careful as you're watching this happen. There is definitely a place where you're gonna be exposed. Now keep in mind the camera is blocking my eyes and I have amazing safety gear on. So you'll wanna be super careful about what's behind the machine in terms of if you're gonna have somebody be blinded. Now, if anybody has ever welded, it kind of reminds me of welding in terms of the amount of brightness and intensity. If you MIG weld or stick weld, you don't want to look directly at it and it'll give you headaches, even if you aren't looking, you know, having the laser shine in your eye. I would imagine it's probably considerably similar to that, but you definitely don't want that to shoot you. You definitely don't want it to shoot your eyes, okay? So really cool. It's a neat product. They don't want you to touch inside of there while it's cutting, okay? And also, I believe this is an engraving job and not necessarily a cut, but I'm guessing that when it's done, it's gonna cut. But I just wanna point out something. It is rocking.
Yeah, I was just noticing that too.
And the reason it's rocking is because it's actually got air pressure. It's not touching, okay? Now that piece of wood was kind of like this. It was like a little bit of fold on it, okay? So you wanna be especially careful about product that is going to be bent with this product, okay? You wanna be super careful that it's not got a nasty fold in it. It's gonna get engaged, okay?
Yeah.
So remember, you load it, you turn it on, and then you hit frame. It finds the position. You use the arrows to fine tune the position, and then you press play or pause if you want to pause. Now they do suggest not doing this in lightning storms, and that makes sense because you don't want the power outage to ruin your work, okay? So that's something to keep in mind. This is a pretty big power supply. You're probably going to have protection from a very, 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 very short flicker in power. But I might suggest if you're doing something important, you get yourself a UPS battery backup or something similar that you can run this on. That's what we have tried to do. We haven't found the right one. It looks like it's getting really close to being done. So I will put back on the safety gear so we can watch. Now I believe this is gonna get cut out when it's done because it said cut and engrave on the file. So the other thing too is just make sure that when this thing moves around over the work, when you hit that frame button, make sure that it's actually going to terminate only on the workpiece, okay? You don't want this to cut past and potentially damage your table or whatever you've got this device sitting on, okay?
Right. And it does say make sure you have something underneath it that the laser won't cut through.
Like aluminum.
Like the aluminum thing.
Okay.
So the honeycomb part is the optional part. The aluminum underneath is
not so much
optional.
So, and I probably will have something a little bit more thick under it if I'm concerned, okay? Or we might cut on top of, I have two tables that look a little bit like this, that this is probably gonna sit on. And I believe they'll be sturdy enough and I'll just bridge the gap and then below is gonna be concrete and it's gonna be farther away. So it's gonna protect it, okay? So it looks like it's getting really close to being done and then I assume it's gonna try to cut the outside edge and we'll see if it cuts. Ooh, it's getting really close. You can tell the proximity. Oh, it's cutting. Oh, that's so cool.
Oh,
yeah, definitely cutting. Yep, oh yeah, look at the smoke, guys.
Yeah. I don't know if they'll be able to smell. It smells like sparklers.
You guys see the smoke? I'm kind of blowing it that way. Oh yeah, that's smoking. That is super cool. So obviously you're not gonna wanna do that generally in, okay, so it went back to the home position and it's basically done. So as you can see, it's cut out. We've got a green light. It's not doing anything with the laser now. So I feel comfortable obviously leaving this to work, to cool. That is so cool, guys. If you've ever seen a laser cut component,
wow.
Oh, that is sweet.
That is.
I didn't know what to expect. I was thinking, oh, I'm not sure it's gonna be that cool. That is really cool, guys. And not only that, but it took depth out. So it's not just nothing,
Oh, yeah.
it's actually depth removed. And then look at the mark on the,
Oh. Yeah.
yep.
And now we're gonna have to print more of those because the kids are gonna fight over the little Creality
They
guy.
will totally fight over it. It's gonna be amazing. So guys, there you have it. Now, I just want you to notice that, okay, we do have an 84-inch ceiling fan moving air. We also have the possibility of opening the doors to create a cross breeze. I think in normal circumstances, it might not be the wisest to do a cut job inside of a space like this, but I just wanna remind you that every environment's gonna be a little different. If you have a bathroom with a stink fan, it might be enough to help, but it's probably better to just do it outside, like in the garage, for instance, okay? So just a couple of thoughts. Also, this is the smokiest we've seen, but we do have an exhaust vent that does exhaust outside. It's not just a filter material that recirculates, because in many kitchens you have an over-the-range exhaust vent that just goes through a filter material. So just make sure you use your best judgment. In our case, we do have an exhaust that goes outside. But if you've ever done any research, the efficiency of these things is pretty low.
Yeah.
Okay. So super cool. Cannot wait to see this thing actually cut a small little airplane or airplane components that we can then glue together and build into something that's structurally sound and potentially flyable, which will be really exciting. And by the way, if you guys didn't already know this, we had a gentleman that came out and flew, not one, but we did, I believe, three videos with Mike. And so Mike, he made those kits. No, he didn't make those kits.
He did.
But
Had
he
a
did.
logo that he brought
Yes.
for us that he had cut.
And so it's really exciting. So Mike, eat your heart out. This is gonna be super exciting. Can't wait to work with some of you. And if you have already done a cool design and you wanna send it to us to work with, please do hit us up in an email, and you can go to the About tab to find the email, or just leave it in the comments and your email will be blocked, okay? That's why I say go to an email with regard to communicating that sort of idea or suggestions if you have files for us. And really cool Creality Falcon2. This thing is going to be a really nice tool. But also I gotta say, don't forget the goodies that you might want extras of when you're ordering. I'm not sure if they're selling these. I want to get some more so the kids can have them. And I wanna have them close to the station so that we can have good safety margins. Also, I gotta say, I love how perfectly this is. And by the way, if you guys ever as a kid built a balsa wood plane, you'll know what I'm talking about. This thing, you didn't have to like break it off. It's just there.
Right.
It's done. But remember, you'll want to leave a connection point if you are trying to, for instance, make a small basic kit, and you want to leave a little bit here and a little bit here and a little bit there or wherever, and then you can pick this up and keep your components held together.
I was expecting more, like it's so clean. I was expecting more burning or something.
No, it's like perfect.
Yeah.
And that's what's cool, is you just get that disparity in color.
That's really cool.
And it really looks nice.
Yeah.
So Creality, good job. From Brian Phillips RC to all of you guys watching at home, we really appreciate you watching these tool-based videos. They're gonna help to satiate your creative juices. And we hope that we're gonna have some amazing ideas to share with you in the near future. If you guys wanna buy one of these, check out the links in the video description below. We do keep current on coupon codes at brianphillipsrc.com. That is our website and our domain. But you also see the short links down below that are BPRC.me. That's also our domain, in case you guys were wondering. And if you're looking for a link and it doesn't show up in the video description below the video, then you can go over to Brian Phillips RC and check for coupon codes on the way to Creality to order what you want to order. Also, as usual, if you want to help support Brian Phillips RC, we have tons of different airplanes, helicopters, VTOLs, quads, and leaf blowers. And all you have to do is look no further than Brian Phillips RC. You can find We have sorted them by type or by affiliate. So for instance, if it's a Horizon Hobby product or a timber, which there's a plethora of them, then all you'd have to do is look in general aviation or Stoll or, you know, like maybe even trainer. I'm not sure if you have it in the trainer.
I don't know if it's under trainers.
But either way, you could also look by Horizon Hobby or E-Flight or
E-Flight.
something like that.
Yep.
Okay, just as an example.
And
But in this case, you'd be looking under Creality, and you can see the 3D printers that we reviewed.
yep, and they're also on the supplies page.
That's right.
Because it kind of goes
they
along
kind of
with,
go along.
Yeah.
So we try to make it easy for you guys to find what you're looking for because we have a plethora of videos that we have filmed over the last almost decade. And we know that it's really hard for you guys to remember what we have to offer if you haven't seen it. So for us, it's getting hard, and we've got something like 1,800 plus videos to remember. So hopefully we have answered enough of the questions to take you off the fence and put you into the category of people that must have a tool like this. And if we haven't, stay tuned, just wait longer, we'll get you there. So guys, we really appreciate you watching. We appreciate your patronage. And if you want to support us in other ways, we have PayPal, Super Thanks, YouTube members, and Patreon. Those are 4 different ways you can support us, but really the easiest way is to watch the videos. Smash the like button. If you haven't already done that, do that. And click the bell for notifications when subscribing so that you can see notifications when new content's coming, which is almost always right around the corner on Brian Phillips RC, because we're here to serve the RC community. And we try to do our very best of making good long format content that is going to help to answer questions and get you from the box into the air, or in this case, from, hopefully you won't be in the air on this one, but from the box to your finished kit or whatever it is you're doing with it, which is going to be super exciting. So guys, from one creative nerd to another, we appreciate you being here with us to go through these unbox build radio setups, and in this case, unbox and assembly and first cut. So really exciting. In Creality, good job on these products. We think you're making good stuff and you're doing the best that you can do given that you have a new, growing, and advancing technology. So we really appreciate that you guys took a chance on us. So thank you for doing that. And obviously, if you guys don't like this, let us know in the comments below, or if you do like it, let us know in the comments below. But we do want to hear about what your projects have been, because we are learning along with you on this type of thing, okay? So there's a million different creative and fun ways to do it, and just help to wet our whistle and the whistle of those that are also watching. And don't forget to protect your balls, your eyeballs, okay? Because that is what we do on this channel all the time. Brian Phillips RC is always watching out for your eyeballs.
Safety first.
Safety first. Stay tuned. So much more coming from Brian Phillips RC.